We live again today. I'm back at it. Hush. Sorry. Tralala, tralala. Bagaimana? Bagaimana? One and two, are you dead?
Hi there. Matrices, as you will see later, help us solve systems of linear equations. As usual, we start with definitions and notations and simple operations of matrices. What's a matrix? A matrix of dimension n by n is a table of numbers arranged in m number of rows and n number of columns.
Whoa!
The elements in the matrix are called entries of the matrix. Here are a few examples of matrices. In this example, we have matrix A. Part A, the dimension of A is 3 by 4 because we have 3 rows and 4 columns. Part B, the element A at 1, 4 is the element in row 1, column 4. So it is negative 5. Column A at 1, 4 is the element in row 1, column 4.
Oh shit.
So it is negative 5. Similarly, part C, we find the element in row 2, column 3.
So that's 4.
So this is 4. There are special matrices that are of interest to us. Null matrices has all the entries as 0. Vectors are matrices with only one column. Square matrices have the same number of columns and rows. So we have a 2 by 2 matrix here and a 3 by 3 matrix here. And the identity matrices are a special type of square matrices with 1 in the leading diagonal and 0 elsewhere.
Whoa.
Next, we want to define what it means when we say that two matrices are equal. For example, A equals to B. Well, it means two things. Firstly, the dimensions are equal. And secondly, all the corresponding entries are equal. The definition of the equality of matrices helps us to solve this problem. In this case, both of dimension 2 by 2 and the corresponding entries are equal. So we can equate A plus B to negative 1, A to 5, 2C equals to 6, and finally C minus D equals to 10. We can work these equations in any order. The second equation tells us that A equals to 5. With this, equation 1 becomes 5 plus B equals to negative 1, so we get B as well. From equation 3, C is 3. And finally, equation 4 becomes 3 minus D equals to 10, or D equals to negative 7. So we found all unknowns. Next, we want to know what it means to add matrices. If we want to add or subtract matrices, the way to do it is to add and subtract corresponding entries. Some points to note: when we add and subtract matrices, they must be of the same dimension. Secondly, matrix addition is commutative. Thirdly, it is also associative. And fourthly, the null matrix N satisfies A plus n equals n plus a equals a, and it acts like the number 0 in the real number system.
What again?
Now matrix n satisfies A plus n equals n plus a equals a, and it acts like the number 0 in the real number system.
Oh.
Scalar multiplication of the matrix A is also quite simple. We multiply the constant c to all entries in A. Let's look at a few examples. A plus b is obtained by adding corresponding entries, for example, -3 to 2, giving -1, 4 plus 4 is 8, 5 plus 7 is 12, and finally 1 plus 0 is 1. How about A minus C? Notice that the dimensions are not the same, so we say that it is undefined, since the dimensions do not match. Finally, 3D minus 2C. This time, the dimensions match, so we multiply 3 to all the elements in this matrix to get this, and multiply 2 to this matrix to get this. Subtracting corresponding entries, we get the answer. We defined the matrix and looked at a few special matrices. We also looked at what it means when we say that two matrices are equal. And lastly,
Why is it still streaming? Lowe's, why obese? You're not even taking the time to insult me. You're not even taking the time. One sec, Lowe's, your love guy didn't assassinate you at the mall. So this is a real comment, and hold on a second. I know exactly why would you, no, that's why I know exactly who this comment. Why would you threaten people like that? You're getting sent to the fucking FBI, bro.
Oh, my bad. Tung 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 ballerina, ballerina, ballerina. That's stupid. Huh? Oh yeah, it was 3. Okay, what's the next one?
in the previous lesson, the algebraic operations we looked at were adding matrices, subtracting matrices, and multiplying matrices with a scalar. We will do matrix product in this lesson. Take a look at this matrix product. We have a 3 by 2 matrix multiplying a 2 by 2 matrix. If we switch the matrices around, we have a 2 by 2 matrix multiplying a 3 by 2 matrix. What's the difference? In the first pair, these two are equal. The matrix product is possible.
Whoa!
In the second pair, these two are not equal. So it is not possible to get a matrix product. So when can we get matrix product? If we want to multiply a matrix A to B, then if the dimension of A is n by n, then the dimension of B must be starting with n by p. And the resultant product has dimension n by p. The entries of the matrix product is given by this formula.
What the f...
Before we look at some examples, let's look at 4 remarks. Firstly, two matrices are conformable for product
Oh shit.
if the number of columns of the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. As you've seen in this example, the number of columns in the first matrix is equal to the number of rows in the second matrix. Secondly, matrix product is not commutative in general. That means if we take A times B, it is not necessarily equal to B times A. And we've seen it in this case, where the first product is possible, but if we switch it around, it is not possible. So obviously, these two products are not equal.
Wow.
Thirdly, matrix product is associative. And lastly, the identity matrix I satisfies I times A equals to A times I equals to A if the matrices are conformable for matrix product. I acts like the number 1 in the real number system. In this example, we want to determine if the matrices are conformable for matrix product. We do this by checking the dimensions. In part A, we have a 3 by 2 matrix multiplying a 3 by 2 matrix. These two numbers are not equal, so this is not conformable for matrix product. Part B, we have a 3 by 2 matrix multiplying a 2 by 3 matrix. In this case, these two numbers are equal, so it is conformable for matrix product. And the final dimension is 3 by 3. Part C, we have a 2 by 3 matrix multiplying a 3 by 2 matrix. Again, these two numbers are equal, so it is conformable for matrix product.
Okay.
The dimension of the final product is 2 by 2.
Okay.
Now let's try to see how we actually get the matrix product result.
Oh yeah.
There are 4 sums here. Let's start with A. A times B. This is conformable for matrix product, so let's evaluate the matrix product. The way to do matrix product is to multiply the corresponding entries in the row of the first matrix to the corresponding entries of the column in the second matrix and add them. So in this case, let's say we take row 1, column 1, then we have minus 3 times 2 plus 5 times 4.
What?
Next, we have row 2, column 1, so this is 4 times 2 plus 1 times 4. First row, second column, second row, second column.
Oh hell nah.
Simplifying, we have 14, 12, negative 21, and 28. Part B, B times C. Now because the dimensions do not match, it's not conformable. If B times C is not conformable, how about C times B? Well, C times B is conformable. So multiplying, we get first row, first column, second row, first column, third row, third column, and then we take the first row, second column, and so on. The matrix product.
One more time.
Part D, the last one. Part D, the last one. Well, C times B is conformable. So multiplying, we get first row, first column, second row, first column, third row, first column, and then we take the first row, second column, and so on. The matrix product. Part D, the last one. C times D. The dimensions match, so it is conformable. And notice that D is an identity matrix, so the product is actually C.
Wait, what? Identity.
Matrix product is possible between two
take that all day. I'm gonna ask fucking Gemini.
and my hot husband. Me and my hot husband are the greatest wrestling couple of all time. But wait a minute, at one point that would have been you and your... Oh wait, you can't see him anymore. Do not talk about me and my hot husband. Me and my hot husband are the greatest wrestling couple of all time. Now look at what I do. No, let me see. Oh, bro.
I have like a plug up there, and like I'm resting it, like you see, yeah, some shit like that. I think I know now you're at work, so I think you have to do a thorough like assessment of your room to see where you can plug it in. Based on that, you figure out how much light strips you need. This nigga. I have like a plug up there, and like I'm resting it, like you see, yeah, some shit like that. I think I know now you're at work, so I think you have to do a thorough like assessment of your room to see where you can plug it in. Based on that, you figure out how much light strips do you need.
Oh shit,
Y'all ready for this?
The room is good.
Y'all ready for this?
The band director. I got a brand new saxophone. The band.
Yo, why your ass calling me, bro? Get back to work.
Look at the stream.
Huh? Oh shit. Guna. Oh, okay, fuck you. What? Fuck you.
Man.
Fuck you. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. Guna, get a job. This is M plus. Just fucking call me a monkey. Just do employment activities lah. Fucking office. watch my stream lah. Get back to work. Employed nigga. They talk to me. They talk to me. I'm doing work. You go do work. I Alpha 1621 Beta. Plus. What the hell? Socioeconomic disparity. They taught me. They taught me. Let's go.
Forte. Os caras vão bater, aqui, mas não vão entrar. Ela tá forte.
Fill your mouth with water along with one other person on your team. Then stand nose to nose for 30 seconds and try not to laugh.
I'll do it with you.
No, do it with Sammy. Yeah, we can pick. I reckon it's you and Sammy. And you have to have mouth and water.
That's gonna be tough. We're to make them laugh? How do we do that? Be funny maybe for once. I guess I asked. I'm not gonna enjoy this at all.
This is your
This is the worst day of my life. I hate this.
We have. Oh my
This
god.
would be pretty hard. But
Why is your stomach out? What are you doing? You already laughed.
what an obese dinosaur.
This is the closest the girl has been to a
Bro, just let him hit.
एक बहुत अमेजिंग प्रोस्टेटिक
You.
टेक्निक लेकर आया हूँ सो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं सबसे पहले मुझे चाहिए बेस्ट
You want to take me in the ring? I'll let you beat me up for a round. Like me? You know he does lots of use cardio. I meant like I won't fight back. It's gonna last 30 seconds with me if your life is really on. It could really hurt you, Colonel. So I last 30 seconds. You let me take you out of the proper date. Last 60 seconds, I'll let you. Okay. You want to take me in the ring? I'll let you beat me up for a round. Like me? You know he does lots.
What about
The video that I said would be out on Saturday has just come out. It's the 100 penalty takers last to miss wins 10 grand.
10 grand. Oh shit. Um, is a demand for caring for children or often prevails. Tung 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 sahur da 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 na ni mu mana mu ma talera or kala na mala mela mala mela pip pip patapim tralala tralala. Lori lori tung 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 sahur sahur tin 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 nu. Arcalero, arcala, ballerina, ballerina, ballerina. Pepe, patapin, tralala, tralala. Phone call individuals to struggle. see this. Ballerina.
Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
We've got to take the engine out.
Nah, because it's not. It's only pierced a hole in it. It's just put a hole in it there, look. So, looks like some hidden chassis damage, but it could be worse. This thing looks repairable, but to get a better look at it, we've got to remove all this suspension and work out what we need to replace. Right, look at that. But look at that, it looks like some Batman's goggles. Hopefully Bob can cut out and re-weld back in. And look at it, it's nothing's actually mounted to that bit where it's broken, so it's not actually doing that much of a job, to be fair. This is supposed to be straight. And it also looks like the hot oil, which had come out the oil cooler, has burnt a few wires at the back, which are for this rear wheel steering module. But if we're going to repair this chassis damage, we've got to remove all of this, so we can get Bob from the machine shop the perfect access to weld it back up. So off comes the lower wishbone, along with the wheel hub, and we're going to hang the brake caliper out of the way, so we don't have to re-bleed the brakes. And now that it's off, let's see what's actually damaged on it. I think it bent the bolt. To be fair, actually, that don't even look that bad. It was this bit that's bent, but this is £5,000.
£5 grand for
£5 grand for
and
this.
there's one each side?
Yeah, one each side. But it don't actually look that bad. Oh, this is melted, isn't it? I don't know, I wonder whether that's okay. I thought this rear wheel steer module was going to be completely broken, but we might actually get away with it. And I said it was £5 grand earlier, but that was for a second-hand one. For one of these, from Lamborghini, it's over £11,000. So I'm going to try my luck. But this one is one we definitely needed. But these weren't that expensive, it's like £130. But that's one, we couldn't really get away with that. With all that suspension off, we've now got to start removing this rear quarter, which again is just bolted on. With this quarter out, it will give us even better access to that damaged chassis. And not to mention, the quarter will probably need replacing anyway. Right, this is it. We're fully clear, rear quarter's off. Now we can repair this, and once we repair this, well, when I say we, Bob's going to do it. Once this is repaired, we can actually start building this all back up again. I'm just going to leave it to Bob now. Bye. So this damage has happened in an area which is kind of a weird welded in part from Lamborghini. And Bob's just going to cut out that part and replicate it by making one himself. Now I'm sure you've seen Bob in plenty of the previous videos, and he's from the machine shop, which teaches people how to weld and shows you guys all his repairs on his YouTube channel.
This has had a bit of heat on there, and we've got a fault on the motor. So Matthew has asked me very kindly, like he always does, to do some tests.
And whilst my dad does that, Bob's cleaning up the area where he's about to weld his new piece. He's using a bit of paper here to sort of press down on the existing part to make a marking and almost like a stencil so he can overlay it onto the aluminium that he's brought. He can then mark out on this aluminium where he needs to cut to make his new part. To me, it looks really inaccurate, but when I seen him cut this piece out, it was almost perfect. Maybe I need to take some lessons from Bob at the machine shop. My dad was still cracking away at the repair on that rear wheel steer motor, whilst I put the VIN number in of the SVJ into Car Vertical, where I could see the full report and history of the car.
Well, all I found is, Matthew, is that this grey wire here is obviously broken.
You couldn't have found that on Car Vertical.
Do you know what you could have found though?
All information on the vehicle that I was buying.
Like the full timeline, every time a registration plate's been changed, every time an ownership's been changed, whether the mileage has gone up, down, left or right, or there's been any outstanding finance on that car.
And also, you can find out if it's been categorised.
The SVJ has got one. Category S for supercar.
I don't really think that it stands for that. But, yeah.
No, that S stands for structural damage. But luckily for me, Bob is repairing that structural damage for me now. Another good thing Car Vertical does is if your car was involved in an accident, then sometimes it even shows you the photos of when the car was auctioned off at the car crash auction site, which is pretty handy to see. And now, Bob's just finished up the welding. Yeah, boy! And as a thank you, please go over to the Machine Shop's YouTube channel and subscribe to them. It looks actually better than new. And that is done without a dent. All we've got to do now is build it all back up, and we might be able to drive this car for the first time, and then we can go through all the financials of how much this costs and what it's going to cost to rebuild. But in the meantime, if you want to check your car out, you can do with the link in the description box below, and with discount code MATT, you're going to save yourself a nice bit of discount on that Car Vertical check. Now, let's start putting back on all of the suspension. Now, I think a lot of this suspension is all good to just go back on. And that one bent arm seems to have taken the brunt of the hit, which is what I've just replaced there. My dad's fixed this. We're about to find out whether it works or not when we plug it in. But it looks a bit dirty, but after this, it's gonna go to the ice blasters, hence why we haven't cleaned up everything else, but the ice blasters are gonna blast it. So all of this stuff, including the rear wheel steer, is going back on. We've literally only replaced one arm. Now 9 times out of 10, there probably will be something else which is bent and needs replacing. But to the eye at the minute, it looks alright. So I'm going to take the chance because a lot of these suspension arms are quite expensive, and then when the car goes to wheel alignment, we'll truly get to see whether anything is bent or broken. And good news for me, the rear carbon brake disc is all in one piece. That doesn't need replacing either. And believe me, we've thoroughly checked it this time. So, here's the handbrake caliper, but the part we're missing which is broken, is that. And that goes onto the back of the caliper there. And when the motor spins, it pushes these calipers together and clamps onto the disc. From Lamborghini, if you try and buy this separately, good luck to you, because they'll try and sell you all of that. But just that separately off a Volkswagen Passat for £19.95, but it hasn't turned up. But luckily what I can do is put this on, and then I can put the motor on when it comes. But for now, we won't have a handbrake, at least on this side anyway. But it don't matter, we're only trying to drive it out the window door. Right, this is my Flintstones wheel. It's the only form of wheel. And we're going to do first drive, guys, first drive. If this does a first drive, we've got further than the Revolto in episode 1. That's a subscribe, isn't it? That's way worth a subscribe.
Are you subscribed?
I think so. Do you have to pay?
It's free. And you get to watch cars like this be rebuilt for your entertainment only for free. But what you could get, if you really wanted to as well, to support the channel that you like watching every single week, is some merchandise. Whoa! Unfortunately, not free. But there is a link in the description box.
Right, are we ready to drive this car out the window?
I'm just waiting.
Now, to see if the SVJ's gearbox actually works. I can't believe it, but already we're going for a first drive. First drive of the SVJ. Can't believe I'm saying that. SVJ. This is a full test now to see if the gearbox actually works, whether it turns the wheels, and if it actually does this, we've progressed way more than the Revolto. Let's see if it's gonna go. Oh, it feels proper special when you're sitting here compared to the Revolto. Like, this feels like I'm sitting in an F-16 jet. Look, so it's like, clear, jets, Whoosh. Jets. Priming. Clear. Let's go. It was driving. What a machine. A proper Lamborghini. That's right. Yes! She's out. It had managed the first drive, start up, first drive, and we're out. Look at her. I think she needs a name. Suzanne the SVJ. I like it. I think she's Suzanne. Suzanne. Okay. Suzanne. Suzanne the SVJ is out here. Looks sick, doesn't it? Now I need to give you guys a price breakdown of exactly what was spent on this, and hopefully I think we'll be in the clear with this car. To the whiteboard. Suzanne the SVJ cost me a bargain price, I think, of £230,000. £5 more than I sold the Revolto for. And I think that's £5 more well spent. Especially as there's only 2 SVJ Roadsters for sale in the UK. And the cheapest one is £520,000. And one thing's for sure, we're not gonna have to buy a battery for Suzanne. Let's see if we can get Suzanne back on the road. I think we can. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.
It's just in. Jammy Dodgers. The real flavour is raspberry.
No way.
You just think that it's strawberry.
Like a drug that I just can't deny.
We just had what might be the most exciting grand finals of all time. I don't know how this is possible. I don't know how it always comes down to Pollo versus Peterbot. It was the most ridiculous finish. All the storylines we've been building up for the whole year and all season came together for this grand finals. It started and finished at Demon's Domain because it would finish no other way. We also have all of our last teams qualifying to land, including Mr. Savage qualifying by less than an elimination. I want to cover all the action. I want to show you guys some clips from the grand finals, as well as some IRL clips and reactions from the tournament, because this is going to be a grand finals to remember. All right, let's jump into it. All right, if my voice sounds a little bit funny, I apologize. I just got done with a massive stream. This grand finals was ridiculous, so you know I was screaming right to the very end. I'm not gonna try and pretend you don't know who won it. We just had Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual win again by 3 points. Less than an elimination, and the way this finished was absolute cinema. Like, this whole season started at Demon's Domain, all the drama that's been going back and forward, even going from obviously the start of this chapter, the players trying to split up and play with new trios, and it came down to Pete versus Pollo in game 12, and it started and ended at Demon's Domain. Like, this could not have been more fitting. So going into the last game, we actually had Aegis, Akon, and Pollo in first. They're about 90 points clear of Peterbot's team, and Pete wasn't even in second. They were behind Kanata, Rapid, and Bolt, who also had a chance to win the tournament. You've probably already seen it, but in case you haven't, I'll show you the moment when we realized that Pete was dropping on Pollo. Did they drop? Did they drop? Are there gliders? Oh, there's Gliders! Oh, shit. Here we go. It all comes down to this. We started at Demons. We're ending at Demons. And a great drop from Poyo. Poyo gets the gun. 55 tag, though. Poyo's down. Poyo down. Poyo down. Age is down. It's up to Acorn. Wait. Pete has a chance to steal it in game 12 because it's motherfucking Peterbot. Oh my god.
Oh non. Même s'il se barre dans tous les cas.
Poyo's team has won this spawn fight so many times. And when it all matters, for somehow, Pete always comes out on top. It is actually ridiculous, but Acorn maybe has the ability to try to ruin this for them. They don't see him. They don't see him. They don't see him. They're going to see him, though. They're going to spot him. They're going to spot him. They're going to spot him. And then it's going to come down to Kanata versus Peterbot. They spot him. Poyo, Acorn, and Aegis go down on spawn. It just, you genuinely can't make this stuff up. The fact that it went down to the off-spawn, Pete's team winning it, despite the fact that Poyo's team has won more times off-spawn against Peterbot this season. When are we ever going to be in a position where going into the last game, a team needs to land on first and they know the drop spot as well as Pete did at Demon's Domain? This is never going to happen when two of the best teams in the world have been calling each other all season, and it comes down to the wire in grand finals. One of them has been dropping somewhere else, and now they have a chance to land on them to take it, and of course they win it. Poyo actually had a really good drop in this situation as well. It's not like Poyo's team played badly. Pete's team just, as always seems to be the way with Pete, levels up when everything's on the line. But at this point, they've taken them down, but you know, Acorn's team still had a very solid lead. Pete needed to get an over 80-point game to be able to overtake them here, and Kanata is still in the way as well. But Kanata's team, and I talked to Kanata about this, they basically didn't have a way to get their surge in the last game because Oliver Ajit, the team over at Outlaw, which they were trading a lot with outside of Crime City, they were now contested, and Chimp's team that was nearby was also surprise contested. So for Kanata to get his surge this game, he had to fight for it. Kanata took a fight in the mid game and then ended up going down. Kanata went down, they tried to reboot him, their surge wasn't good. Kanata tries to take a fight on the edge of, I think it was like 6th zone, goes down, and now it's all eyes on Peterbot. Peterbot has the chance to clutch up yet again another grand finals, but he has to get the win. This is how last game went from Peterbot's POV. Pete's on 288. It's Clicks versus Pete. Clicks versus Pete for the high ground potentially. King has now taken everyone down. They're giving Pete the win. It's Clicks versus Peterbot 3v3. Cold's dropping down. It's feeling like a Pete win. It's feeling like Pete's gonna close it out. There's no way.
That Cold Ritual and Peterbot laying down here. But no,
3 elims though. They still need the win. They need the win. They don't have enough elims for the second now. I think they have to win it.
I'm not gonna say it's scared by any means, but
Hey, Cold Ritual dropping down now. Cole's got no builds. Cole's got no builds. He's in. It's an absolute cluster. What's going on? Everyone in the box. Does Cold somehow win this? Does Cold actually clutch this up in the moment? Cold somehow managed to come out of that. What? No one shoots Cold.
Minus Cold, of course.
Clicks the Yomzo and Minished. Pete Cold Rich left to win it. Yomzo goes up. Yomzo and Clicks. They fell out of the running for FNCS, but they could still write the script here with a clutch. But a Minish gets slammed by Pete. Pete hits the shot. Pete and Rich will have the health advantage. Pete might be going down. It's Yomzo as a solo. Zoe has to win as a solo. Otherwise, Pete wins FNCS. Clicks gets finished. Pete goes down. It's Ritual. Ritual has the elim. It's a 7 elim win. And Pete, Cold, Ritual win it. Oh my God. They needed a 7 elim win to overtake Poyo, and that's exactly what they got. If they got one less elimination, if they came second, if anything else happened, Poyo would have won FNCS, but of course, Peterbot pulls it off to win yet again another FNCS. Just absolutely ridiculous. This does mean, obviously, Aegis, Acorn, and Poyo came in second. They played phenomenal. They had a very interesting weekend as well. Poyo's team obviously kicking off the weekend with 2 wins in a row. Everyone thought that's it. Poyo's team's going to run away with FNCS. They're uncontested Demon's Domain. It's over. But then they started to get contested. They ended up actually losing to the team contesting them, but that team decided to then leave after getting third party, realizing that if they fought, it was going to go against them. I thought all things looking good for Poyo. They're back to uncontested. Now they can win FNCS. But the team that was contesting them ended up actually dropping on JoJo's team next to them on the mountain, and that was their main surge trading route. So therefore, Poyo's team really struggled on the rest of day 1. But Pete's team was ahead going into day 2, but Acorn ages Poyo. They VOD reviewed the night before, they figured out strategies, and they came out swinging and they won the first game of day 2. They managed to win 2 games on both days. They just didn't win FNCS with 4 victory royales. Pete getting his only victory royale in that 12th game. Like I said, Rapid Kanata Bolts also in the run to win it. They could have actually won FNCS. That means they've secured their land spot. Super happy for Rapid Kanata Bolts. I got to chat with Kanata. He said they played really, really well. They could have played better. They could have won FNCS, but they can't be mad with the land qual. That team formed pretty much out of desperation. We're all talking about it when they first formed. They were a team that hated each other. They all openly just despised each other when they last played together, said they'd never play together again, got back together, gave it a chance, and played phenomenal. They almost won FNCS. They were almost the first team to win an FNCS that didn't have Peterbot or Poyo on the team since Chapter 5 Season 2. But they clutched up the land position and the 3rd place, and then, as you can see, quite a significant drop down to Visuals Braids and Aminish. Still played really well. 4th place. They're already in land as well, so they didn't take a land spot. And then it went to Muzz, Shadow, and Sphinx. Now, you guys know I'm a big Muzz fan. He's one of my favorite pros. I've been friends with him for years now. Super proud of what he overcame this season. They got contested at Resistance Base in Grand Finals after not even almost making Grand Finals, having to go through last chance qualifiers after Clix' team keyed them in the group stages. They made it to the finals, contested by Skittles, did insanely well on day 1. Muzz put up a generational performance on day 1. Day 2, they were no longer contested. Skittles team no longer dropping on them straight at Resistance Base, but taking a lot of the loot on the split next to them. So Muzz's team had to overcome that, still managed to do so, and took the 2nd land spot for NA, meaning our 2 new teams going to land is Rapid Kanata Bolts and Muzz Shadow Sphinx. That leaves a few big names out. Aviv, G-Money, and Rise missing out by 1 single place to Muzz, and then Booga, Threats, and Craze, 2 of Muzz's ex-teammates. So very, very insane finish. Again, there's probably a really big team that you're surprised I haven't talked about yet. We had Clix, Higgs, and Iomzo finishing in 8th place overall. Not a terrible placement, but for a team that a lot of people, myself included, had picked to potentially win this FNCS, it was a big underperformance. And a lot of you guys are wondering, what happened? What went wrong? I was actually lucky enough to talk to Iomzo right after Grand Finals and ask the questions a lot of people had, because while watching, if you watched any of the broadcasts or my streams or any other watch parties, everyone was confused what was going wrong with Clix. It just looked like they had, not really a good game plan or things were struggling, but throughout the season, they've played excellently. And a lot of people were saying it's because in Grand Finals, they decided they didn't want to trade Surge, that was against the rules and they didn't agree with it. And I got to ask Iomzo, and that wasn't the case. Iomzo said, look, like, as much as we hate Surge trading, we wish it wasn't a thing. It's part of the game. You have to do it, but the zones weren't really there for us. We had a lot of south zones, which meant we really didn't have the time to trade like we needed to, so we tried to play aggressive. We tried to W key, we tried to match what Frodoxy did on EU, which I'll talk about EU in a second, and he said, look, it just didn't work. We just didn't execute properly. There's so many things we could have done, so many situations where if we played the fight better or we made a better decision, we could have done well, but it just didn't work. But I wanted to make it clear that a lot of people are questioning, what went wrong for them, and, trying to say that they chose to change their strategy during Grand Finals. Not really. Grand Finals is where the Surge thresholds are much higher. You need to get way more Surge. They didn't get the best zones because they no longer had Edgy's team to the south. They couldn't take the Spire anymore, which is a big part of loot for them. It was a big aggressive loot path. They had to change that last minute because of Peterbot. They tried to key Peterbot in one of the games, game 10, tried to take a straight 3v3 against Peterbot, and they lost and went down. A lot of people calling that a grief play, myself being a bit confused. Why would you just randomly key the team in first that you haven't fought yet? It seems like Clix's team was just, they were out of ideas, and that's what Iomzo said. Look, we keyed the team at Pump Power a bunch. We keyed the team to our north. All of them started expecting it. The only team we hadn't keyed to try to get easy elims on or Surge was Pete's team, and we tried to fight them, and we lost again. I don't think it was a terrible decision, just the execution was bad, and it went against us. So I did want to explain that to the audience, because I know a lot of people were confused. Clix, on stream, he's playing with muted comms, so you can't hear what Higgs, Iomzo, or BloodX is saying, and at the end, he kind of broke it down, and just said that he wasn't really sure what is happening in Fortnite. He doesn't have a good grip on what is going on, and I think it is just the surge trading strategy just doesn't really suit them, and they just didn't really have a backup plan for that. They tried something different and it didn't work, and it sucks to see, but I'm still very excited for Clix, Hicks, and Iomzo coming into FNCS Globals. I think they could still be a phenomenal team. They've shown a lot of potential. Second place last Grands, but this one I think it slipped away from them, and they mentally just didn't have a backup plan, and it got the better of them. To round out the top 10 on NA, we had Phaser, PH Zin, and King, our South American trio. They brought a 9th place overall, which I think is quite respectable. We don't see a lot of small region teams come to big regions and get top 10. So I know a lot of people are hoping for maybe like a top 5. This is a team with 16 FNCS wins. I still think that is a good showing. They were only 2 points behind Clix, and coming into LAN, hopefully the experience and practice they got on NA was worth the trip. And then in the top 10, just to finish off, we had Reet, Cooper, and Curly, a team that struggled because of Clix's decisions. Again, Reet saying that the reason why they struggled so much was Sphinx's team was conned at resistance base against Skittles. They usually do a lot of their trading with the resistance base because Clix then wasn't really trading Surge out of Supernova. They had no one to trade with, and then that kind of messed up their whole strategy. They had a really rough day 1. They brought it back on day 2. They got 3 second places in a row to kick off day 2. They then started to struggle a little bit towards the end of day 2 and then brought it back with a couple decent games, but overall not a phenomenal performance from Reet. I talked to Reet and Cooper. They were both pretty upset about it, but it is what it is. They're not too worried about globals. It just didn't really play out the way they wanted in grand finals. This FNCS, especially on NA, genuinely was just one of the craziest we've ever seen. It does make me want to actually go and do a proper like kind of breakdown game by game story style video of how FNCS played out. If you guys would like that, let me know in the comments down below. I'll try and cook something up for it because I think there's so much that I couldn't talk about in a video like this. We had Cole's 1v3 on the mountain to save the game. We had Pete lurking on Acorn on day 1, hiding out. Like, there is so much to talk about, and now that I've been here in Dallas and I got to talk to so many of the pros after grand finals, interview them on stream, go hang out with them off stream, I think I have a lot of insight that I could put into a video that would make it really cool. So I'm sorry if you wanted me to break down NA Grands even more than this. I do think it might be one of the best Grands of all time as far as just the storylines and the finish. I'll try and cook something up for you guys as well, don't worry.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems. Everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Super odds value only at Domino's. Quality ingredients. Super odds. Baked to perfection. Super odds. On-time delivery. Super odds. Super odds value.
Moving on over to EU, and I'm so happy to announce we have a first-time FNCS winning trio, Chino, Pablo, and Fredoxy. The Danes, they came second place last grand finals, now first place, proving they are not one-hit wonders. That was not a one-off opportunity. They played absolutely phenomenally, and they did it out of Supernova, the same drop spot as Clix. And I think that's a lot of reasons why people are looking at Clix as such a big underperformance. Well, if Fredoxy did it, why can't you? And honestly, the joke was kind of coming out against Clix for people who aren't the biggest Clix fans, saying, you aren't Fredoxy. And Iomzo, when I talked to him, agreed. He said, look, Fredoxy is the crouch king. That's what he called it. He said that Fredoxy just pulls off these insane fighting plays, these insane lurks. He has everyone's rotations around him dialed in, and they just make phenomenal decisions, and they execute on them well. Fredoxy's team, Fredoxy himself, doing over 5,500 damage with the dual pistols. Hardly anyone else was even using the gun. He did over 5,500 damage with them. It is, easy to understand if you watch the tournament. Fredoxy's team had the most amount of shotgun damage done of any trio. They were one of the only trios in both regions that was, I'm not going to say not surge trading, but was hardly surge trading. Fredoxy's team would get up on Supernova, they'd trade their early surge, they would use that extra buffer of time they now had to W key and play super aggressive, get their elims, and it worked flawlessly. They played phenomenal. The only time one of the early times they made a big mistake. They decided, I think it was in game number 10, for whatever reason, to key Veno's team. They had an over 100-point lead on Veno. The only way that they lose FNCS is by having a 0-point game and Veno catching up. And for whatever reason, they decided to key Veno at Boxcars, which I respect the play. I honestly commendable to have that level of confidence, but the risk to reward ratio is just not there. Yes, they can take down Veno, and then if they go on to have a good game, basically secure their FNCS, but they could just keep playing the way they've been playing, and with their point average, they should comfortably win, but they went down. Veno's team wounding them. They ended up going down and getting almost 0 points that game. Veno went on to have a good game, and it meant that it came right down to game number 12 for Phrodoxy and Veno. Now, I'm going to show you a clip. I think this also speaks volumes about Vico's passion, but also Veno's ability as an IGL. This is the IRL footage of when Vico realized they'd lost FNCS.
Yeah, Mats. You go get Mats, man. Push back, push you. Goes to the body. That's right. Okay. Alright, it was a nice try, guys. We did everything we could. That's what we can take away from that. Go ahead. Okay. You played great today. We did everything that we could. Yes, he's emo. I want to smack the fuck out of him. We did everything we could.
I love to see it out of Veno, you know, telling Vico you did everything you can. It is what it is. And honestly, Vico's team did have a pretty unfortunate tournament. They went into day 2 in 7th place overall, kicked off with 2 massive wins, bringing it back, putting themselves back in the running for winning. They had so much momentum, and then Malabuka decided to land on Vico at Boxcars. Now, this was a strange one. A lot of people definitely a little bit confused about this. People pointing back to last season when Vico started contesting Malabuka. We did have Flixie point out that when they did it, they were playing to try to win their tournament. Malabuka was trying to do it just to make sure that Vico lost. And again, like I've always told you, that is my definition of griefing. If you're playing to make someone else lose, that is griefing. If you're playing to make yourself win and it happens to negatively impact someone else, well, that's unfortunate. It's the way the game goes. But you can draw your own morals on that one as well. If you think Malabuka was griefing, if you think it was revenge, if you think it was justified, if Malabuka at that point had no drop spot, he'd been struggling at Demon's Domain, tried to go somewhere else, ended up then going Boxcars. They ended up winning the fight, but because of that, it really did break Vico's momentum, and then Vico's team still did well. They brought it down to the last game where they had a chance to win it, but Chino, Pablo Wingo, and Phrodoxy just played too good. In the last game, we even had Phrodoxy popping emotes out in endgame knowing they'd won. Super happy to see them win it. Again, the Danish goats, they've been playing extremely well recently. I am very interested to see how they do in LAN right now. Their stock is on the moon. All the players around the world recognizing Phrodoxy is not just good off spawn, he is an overall phenomenal IGL and fighter. Pablo and Chino, genuinely disgusting fighters in that mid game. They are looking like a very solid team coming into globals. In 3rd place, we have a team no one's surprised to see there, Vanya, Pixie Mares on 636 points. Now, all 3 of those teams already have their LAN spot. There's 4 LAN spots up for grabs on EU. So before I break down the rest of the leaderboard, I will make sure we go through who got the LAN spot. Seti, Yapko, and Panzer got the first one. Tayson already had their LAN spot. So Focus, Mixon, and Upple got the second one from Shogun Solitude, by the way. Then we had Swizzy, Queasy, and Mustache. They already had their LAN spot. So we had iDrop, Hari, and Cammy. Cammy's team going from last chance qualifiers to making it to LAN. And then in the last and final LAN spot, Chap, Mr. Savage, and Rezon by 2 points. Half an elimination. They made it to Grand by 1 point, and then they made it to LAN by 2 points. I want to show you Mr. Savage's reaction to finding out they made it to LAN.
Come on,
No, bro.
Are you sure?
God.
No friends, he's a LAN, I know. No friends in the man, he's so
100%.
sad, bro.
Oh my
Win,
god!
2 points. 2 points. Let's go!
By 2 points.
Oh my god. Oh my god, how?
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 Oh my god, bro. Oh my.
Is right?
Yes!
Let's go, bro. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. How did we just qual?
I just broke my headset. Like,
I'm pretty sure I thought he broke his headset as well. I was like, wait a second. That sounds like it broke.
Savage's team had to have a generational comeback on day 2. They were 17th place going into day 2. They played extremely well. I don't have Chap's POV, but if Chap was doing half the damage that he was comming that you could hear through Savage's POV, he was absolutely popping off. Every fight would start off with Chap 150, 100, full box on me, 200, 150, 100, key him. Like, Chap was going insane. Really, really opening up their fights and playing phenomenal.